Hey, good Thursday, everybody. Meteorologist Greg Majeski back with you here on the Weather Nerds YouTube channel with a special severe weather update as we're looking at a pocket of severe weather for today. Kind of an unusual setup, and we're going to see pretty good hailstorms, I think, going to be hitting a pretty good chunk of the country, especially heading into the southeast as we head into our late this afternoon and going in toward tonight. Now, before we get going into this report, if you're not yet a subscriber, what you waiting for, my friend? Please hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell so you're alerted on future content. And as always, if you appreciate this report, please leave me a comment down below. Give me a thumbs up. I do appreciate you guys helping to support our little channel. So let's go ahead and get in on the latest here from the Storm Prediction Centers. We're looking at the day one outlook here as this little pocket of slight risk has been going up on every report here the last few days here. So again, you got to see this going through portions of Missouri, coming back into Mississippi, Alabama, and parts of Georgia. You see the larger marginal risk here coming a pretty good size through there as we're tracking an upper level disturbance that's going to be sliding down toward the south. It's got a little cold core with it, and with it, the possibility of seeing not only damaging winds, but hail. And I think we're going to see mostly nickel and perhaps pea-size hail with some light accumulations, but there's always that possibility you get that one storm where you may get up to maybe golf ball size hail. So we got to watch this closely as we go through the day. Let's go ahead and break down the categories here as far as what we're expecting with the storms here for today, as we'll go ahead and look at that. Again, the tornado risk is pretty low with this. We're not expecting that to be a problem for today. In fact, it's running less than 2%. Not a big deal there, but the wind threat and the hail threat are identical. So this is your wind threat here in that yellow area. That's basically your slight risk zone. And there's your hail threat also running at about 15%. So we're looking at hailstorms, I think, are going to be a predominant threat for this particular setup. Not your typical severe weather setup that we traditionally see, but that's what we're looking at here for today. So I want to go ahead and focus in on what's driving this. But right now, looking at the radar, what we're seeing currently out there this morning is we're seeing some rains here and even some snows up here across portions of New York State. Got some heavier rains here across areas of eastern Kentucky. It's this energy back up in here toward Iowa. It's this cold little core that's diving down to the south that we're going to watch. It's going to be bringing in that severe weather as we get that daytime heating going on. That instability that's there, that little cold core, it's going to bubble up like kind of shaking a bottle of champagne or even maybe a Coke, and you just got to release it. And that's what we're going to see here as we go into late this afternoon and going into the evening hours here for tonight, coming into Tennessee, Alabama, and eventually getting into Georgia as we go in forward tonight. Look at satellite imagery. It's not looking bad. Again, the disturbance is riding back over here near the Ames area. This is the core that's diving down toward the south. Again, you got the rains and the moisture ahead of that system there going off the east coast. As we got a reinforcing shot of colder air that's coming across the eastern third of the United States. So what we're going to start first, we're going to look at the latest model data here. We're going to be looking at the 500 millibar vorticity. This is kind of shows where the cold core is kind of located here. Again, we're talking about this disturbance that's back up into here as we head toward 5 o'clock, all right? So we're going to track this closely here. I'm going to back this up a little bit here. See it kind of diving through Iowa and diving on down toward the south. So by the time we head toward 5 o'clock in the morning, it's already diving here toward the south, as you see this cold air coming in here across the southeast. So as this thing dives onto the south, it goes off the eastern seaboard. You see the nice little cold shot here coming in here across the eastern third of the United States in the wake of that upper level disturbance. But as that disturbance rides south, that's what's going to fire off those hailers out ahead of that system as it dives down toward the south and sets off those individual thunderstorms that we're going to track as we go in toward the evening hours. So we're going to look at the high resolution model data here as we're looking at this thing getting fired up. You see the rains there, obviously, as we go toward 9 o'clock. This is our current kind of setup here with the rains here, but we're going to be watching this stuff back here start to fire up and coming in down toward the south as we head toward the late afternoon and into the evening hours. So again, watch that timestamp, that upper right corner. There starts to fire. Boom, starts to fire as we get towards 6 and 7 o'clock tonight. There's those initial storms. A couple of pockets of them. You see it here across Kentucky, Tennessee, eastern Tennessee, North Georgia, and Alabama. And again, these will be individual stells. That'll be hailers. They're going to dump some pea-sized, nickel-sized hail and maybe some larger ones with some of these as they continue to move off toward the east. So this will move off here through the evening hours here across the Carolinas and coming across south. So again, that main severe weather zone is where the Storm Prediction Center is kind of going right through there to that slight risk zone as this kind of moves off toward the east. And then we'll have some marginal severe weather here going into day 2 that'll go up along the Carolina coast as this system begins to exit. And then we'll see things begin to kind of improve here, as we'll see just looks like some reinforcing shot of cold air with a few showers here coming across the deep south as we go into your later into the Friday evening into Friday night. All right, so let's go ahead and look at this again, looking at what happens beyond this. Now, I will tell you this much. Once we get this severe weather event out of the way, I'm still not seeing like a traditional severe weather event here in the short term. Looks like we're still going to continue with a fairly quiet weather pattern here over the long term here. So as I'm going to back this up here, I'm going to take a look at this. Again, we're watching this system here on exiting the into the weekend. So we're going to see some rains here across, obviously, the northeast states. I got a cool air here across the east. It's warmer here out toward the west. And then it looks like another cold shot coming down. There's another cold core that breaks down here as we head toward the next week. You see another cold shot here coming across areas of the northeast once again. Some snows up here, staying warm and dry out here in the western portion of the United States. And then beyond that, we got another cold core, boom, coming down here, showing on the 18th and 19th. Look at that. And this is dumping some snows here across the mountains. Hard to believe that, seen there on the 19th of April, seeing some snows in there. But another cold core comes on down toward the south. So again, from now, the 10th, right through the 19th, outside of the severe weather pocket we're dealing with here for today, not seeing anything there. Now, on the long range here on the European, as we go out beyond the 20th, maybe going into that 22nd, 23rd, we can watch areas in here. Maybe we get a few pockets of severe weather that may start to pop up in here, but nothing that's widespread, not a big major outbreak here on the end of the model run. I just don't see it there. Just seeing, again, maybe some pockets of stuff in here that may pose severe, marginal to slight risk, but no major outbreaks, at least showing on the long range models straight out through the 24th. So some good news for you folks out there who we got really worked that first week in April, and we're not seeing it here on the long range. So again, recapping what we got going on here for today. We've got the slight risk pocket here going for Paducah, Clarksville, Memphis, Birmingham, Atlanta, Huntsville, getting near the Montgomery area. That yellow core is where we're going to be looking at severe thunderstorms. We'll look at damaging winds, possible winds up to 60 miles per hour, and a lot of hailers. I think we're going to have a lot of hailers out there. There'll be a lot of pictures going around with hail accumulating on the ground. Most of it should be pea-size, nickel-size, with that occasional possibility of some individual storms that may go up a little bit higher, perhaps getting as close to golf ball size hail with some of these storms as we go into the late afternoon and into the evening hours as that cold core kind of dives down and moves through the southeast. And then we'll see things set up for a pretty decent weekend here across most of the country. So again, just want to give you guys a quick update on what you can expect for today. And if you'd like to continue to get these kind of updates, whether it be my traditional weather daily or these special severe weather events, or when we do severe weather coverage from time to time, please consider subscribing to the channel. It'll be an honor and privilege to be one of your weather sources. So just hit that subscribe button in that lower right-hand corner. Hit the notification bell. That way you're notified when we do these updates and when we do our live broadcast. And if you like what you see, leave me a comment down below. If you got a weather question, please post that down below as well. Always willing and able to go ahead and help you guys plan accordingly, especially if you've got any trips or things going on in your neighborhoods and in your backyard. All right, that's y'all's a quick update here for today. You guys be good, stay safe, and we'll see you on the next update. You guys have a great weekend. Bye-bye, guys.